Hey guys, we're going to listen to part of a cold call from Riaz. So yeah, let's just jump in and listen immediately, and we can use this as an opportunity to see what it is that we can adjust and develop when it comes to the cold calling process. Can you guys hear this? Cool.
Yeah.
Morning, CRT. Oakland,
Hi, is
sorry.
this? Oh, yeah, I'm speaking to Chris.
You are, yes, mate, yeah.
Chris, the name is Noah. I'm calling you from Room Space. Am I catching you at a bad time?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we immediately there's two things to pick out from this tactically. So one of the things is mirroring. So if people say mate, I tend to use the word mate back.
Okay,
He
yeah.
said, yeah, it is mate. I said, oh, hello, mate. How you doing? Oh, cool, mate, dude, buddy, bruv, mirroring, right? It's all just mirroring. Speak in the language at the pro and of course, because perhaps this pines some nerves, but as you do, and you do enough calls, but you want to listen to those signals, and that's a great one because people that are more informal will say mate in the UK certainly, and there'll be geographic equivalents everywhere. So they might say, "Yeah, hey buddy, how you doing?" Or "Hey dude, what's up?" Or "Hello mate, how you doing?" Or "Hello," whatever it is. But just try and mirror, okay? And
Okay.
then when someone uses particular colloquialisms, it would tend to then ultimately connote or be a proxy to a type of education and or income. So it will give you a sense of their education, socioeconomic status. It's quite interesting. Just with a single word, you might get a dial in into that. So you just want to mirror to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool, great. And then because you haven't included, of course, the benefit statement or the impact statement or the elevator in your initial pitch, he just begins with a yes, it's a bad time.
Mm.
So what we want to do, and I know that you flip it, of course, but you always want to give them an irresistible, immediate what's in it for me. So the concept of saying no would be ridiculous. So you
Oh,
want to give them something to which it's just illogical to say no to. So that's what you want to aim to do. Let's just continue a little bit more, and we'll stop at 30, 40 seconds. But language and being and again, interestingly, it relates to what we discussed previously about targeting and decision makers and type of needs. The language equivalents stand the same. So there's ways that people speak, and depending upon the way that they speak, you can make determinations on the way that you should reciprocate. It's in of course all walks of life. You listen to someone, you think, okay, I need to talk to you in a certain way to get the result that I want, which is why we don't call our teachers and mentors mate, but we tend to call them sir or and say please and thank you. But we wouldn't necessarily say please and thank you when we're down the pub with our friends. It'd seem a bit too formal. We'd rather just say cheers, mate, instead of oh, thank you so much, Evan, for the beer you just bought me. He'd think I was a dickhead. So you want to just be mindful of stuff like that because it does kind of carry over. And when you don't use it, people immediately think, "Oh, I'm talking to someone who's different than me." So it creates a bit of a barrier. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah, cool, great, amazing. Let's continue.
Oakland,
Hi, is
sorry.
this? Oh, yeah, I'm speaking to Chris.
Morning, CRT. Oakland,
Hi, is
sorry.
this? Oh, yeah,
Did you hear what he said?
I'm speaking to Chris.
You are,
I
yes, mate, yeah.
Chris, the name is Noah.
so okay, cool. I already know. Fine. The subject of the day is active listening because also, of course, you interrupted him because he said a different company name because maybe they've merged or something happened, which was
Yeah, because
it wasn't important that
yeah.
you didn't hear it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was important that you didn't acknowledge it because I think you're aware that you didn't hear it because you paused and then you didn't say, "I'm so sorry. Is this Chris?" Maybe you're like, "Yeah, Chris. Yeah, it is, mate. Oh, amazing, Chris. You know what? I interrupted. Sorry, what were you saying? Just at the start there? Oh, you know what? Or nothing. Don't worry about it. What can I do for you?" Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because actually, if I'm on that call, and it's always best to assume the worst outcome because then you can optimize for the best possible return on investment because then you adjust based upon getting the most negative response. Because then accordingly, you shine your shoes, you polish your boots, you tie your laces because you think this person's going to be super anal. And that tends to increase the average standard to which you go into things. Does that make sense? So this,
Yes.
so that's why don't worry about it. It's like, yeah, do worry about it because every one in X persons is going to think that. And someone like me is going to think that. And that means that might be an X dollar ticket. So the couple of things that all happened, which tells me that active listening is the key here, is the mate thing, which wasn't reciprocated, the interruption that wasn't acknowledged, and then those two in and of itself tell me that being more mindful of what people are saying, and even where you don't hear it, just acknowledging that you missed something. So I'm so sorry, mate. You know what? I didn't catch you. You were saying something. What was it? And he'd be like, oh, he says what he says. Doesn't matter. But he's acknowledged. Any questions about that, guys? Cool. So that's it, dude. So they're my I think comments, and I think that to play that out, and I know why this happens. Probably you're either looking at a script and you're trying to remember your lines, and therefore you're not actively listening because you're thinking a couple of steps ahead, and you're having to think a couple of steps ahead because you don't know your lines well enough. So you've not committed it to muscle
Yeah.
memory. Does that make
That
sense?
was the first. It was the first. In fact, that was the second call I made for the client.
Amazing.
The
So that
second
means
phone call.
that
So I was still finding my feature.
no, so
Yeah.
it's all, and that comes out then. It comes out then.
Mm.
It's just a case of drilling it for 20 minutes by
Yeah.
yourself until you can close your eyes and just say the pitch. So it might just
Mhm.
mean an additional 20 minutes because that might be the guy. So the difference is probably 20 minutes. It's an easy thing. Don't get me wrong, it's an easy thing to have happen, but the common reason why that happens is people are often distracted, and distraction is, in this case, another word for lack of preparation. Because when you're prepared, you can deal with the unexpected because you've already committed to memory all of the expected pieces. So you have mental bandwidth to deal with that which comes up that you're as of yet unprepared for. Does that make sense? So it's like, well, I already know my line, so I can probably kind of think about this on the spot. Most people typically just work on their elbow or off the board, but it doesn't work. And the people that make it look like it work have got years of experience behind them. That's all it is. So that for me would be I have put a lot of actual hours into cold calling. I don't mean building lists. I don't mean any of this fanning about. I mean literally dialing and talking and talking and talking. And that's the muscle that you optimize for. So cool. Let's now any questions about that, guys? Okay. All right. So let's now go and jump into so that's that. Let's go jump into 2 minutes of a call with Johnny, and let's have a look.
Would you like to expand to other industries?
Let's go and talk about the frame control thing. This is 6 days ago. Do you not have anything from today, John?
Today, let me see if I've uploaded the one from today.
Well,
I do have one from today. Yeah.
I can see if you uploaded the one for today, mate. It's
Yeah,
fine. I'm in here.
I've read it here. Yeah, it's Deepak. Deepak. I think that's how I pronounce his name. That's
Okay,
also from
no
today.
problem. We'll dive in and we'll
That
have a
was just
look.
one. Yeah.
Citygate housing call with Raja. What about this one? 28-minute call.
That was yesterday. That was a good one. Yeah, can also be.
Okay, cool. Let's listen to this one. Cool. All right, fine. What I'm trying to see is if you change your background. That's what I'm interested in. Based
Well,
upon how
the one today. Yes.
the one today. This one?
So the one with Deepak.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this is your latest call. Great.
Yeah, that was the one today.
Great. Amazing.
That one I'm gonna like it though. Yeah, but yeah. Not to be a good day. I'm in London. I'm doing a bit back.
Well, you change your background first of all, so it's already better. I think even if you want to tidy these pieces up while you're there, less distraction will be great. I just move all of that crap down for the day and literally just have it plain white wall. Plain white wall, so you're the focus.
Yeah, I can't touch this. My dad would kill me.
Oh,
if I
no, no
touched this.
problem.
Yeah.
With what's inside of your scope of control, remove stuff or blur your
Yeah, yeah.
background then maybe.
I can
Um,
also do that.
cool. Let's just listen to it's the first 2 minutes.
Oh, good morning. There we go. There we go. Hello, Deepak.
Hello, John. How have you been?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Perfect.
Where are you based on at the moment?
Okay, so we discussed
Yeah.
this, right? He's established
Exactly.
frame control.
Yeah, I knew exactly when. As soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, it jumped straight in. Because the problem that I find is that I usually try to be polite and wait for them to reply, but sometimes when I wait for them to reply, they just jump straight into it and don't let
Yeah,
me. And then I
yeah.
try to take it back, but yeah.
It's difficult because so guys, what you're seeing here, for those of you who are unaware, is frame control is really important. Now, frame control is a little bit different when you're cold calling because you want to give the perception the person you're talking has control, when really you want to control the conversation through deference and niceties. So when you cold call, you want to be so delightfully polite but actively listening that you can navigate the outcome and softly approach stuff. So we say, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. Richard, what was it? Did you just say something? Oh, yeah, no, amazing. Yeah. So yeah, say, hey, yeah, my name's Noah. I'm calling from a company called Halcyon Eco. And long story short, we can save you a ton of money on oil costs, and we can make your fryer that you've got in your kitchen just turn into a profit machine. Can I just take 10 seconds to walk you through exactly how we do that? Whatever it might be. But you focus on being nice, and you focus on immediate elevator pitch. In this environment, because of course they're coming to you, you can afford to be a little bit more dominant depending upon the nature of the call. So with inbound, you can be more dominant, and sometimes it serves you to be more dominant. So let's just continue and ride over that.
Doing great.
I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'll be back.
Hello, John. How have you been?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Perfect.
Where are you based on at the moment?
I'm in London. We're in London, and I mean, for us, it's still 9:20, so it's still the first thing in the morning. So I haven't had any reasons for it not to be a good day, I guess.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm assuming that for you it's a bit later. I mean,
Yeah, actually, it's like 2 p.m.
2 p.m. exactly.
Let's see who sets the agenda first. I'm curious because the next power play is to see who discusses the agenda for the call. Are you
He
following,
goes straight
gents?
into it. Yeah, he goes straight into it.
You do
That's why.
intros and you do niceties, and then you say, look, yeah, so look, the reason I wanted to talk to you today, or you say, oh, so look, Vivek, I understand you want to talk to me about lead generation, how to look at the company, whatever you want to say. But whoever basically makes the first move is making or attempting to make power moves. Does that make sense, gents? What I'm talking about, and we'll see. So he's been the first guy so far. It's okay, John. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all learning and development, isn't it? He's been the first guy to do that. And now let's see.
Are you in
Yeah.
Nepal? I saw that you had some officers in Nepal. Are you in Nepal?
Nice.
Yeah, I'm at Nepal at the moment.
Okay, good,
So,
good, perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
basically, let us start.
Small thing, but when you talk
that was
about
yeah.
when you talk about a country, it's just a little tweak. If you can talk about the capital of the country, if you know what country city they're in, that's just
London.
a bit better. It's the difference between someone saying to me, "Are you in the US?" versus you're in New York, right? Or you're in Michigan, right? So you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Does that make sense? It just shows that, oh, okay, so you went and had a look at where our offices are, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
With why I asked for your meeting with your guys. I was just like looking into the companies that could help me generate lots of leads, maybe even give us the clients themselves. But it's kind of very hard nowadays. So I wanted to learn more about your offering. So I think that.
So I've got a second. Okay, cool, guys. So look, the takeaways are, to begin with, number one, frame control. We discussed it. It's quite important to set the tone and agenda and to set some level of dominance that you can control and lead the call. Number two, and again, this relates a little bit to what we discussed, Riaz, when you can have tokens that denote socioeconomic status. This guy's Bibek and he's in Nepal. Does he have the purchasing power to pay a UK-based company in pounds? We assume, based upon historical evidence, no more than yes. So what we need to do now is to price check him at the door. People say that, oh my God, based upon it's a stupid inversion, I think, that's just completely incorrect. You get the classic movie that you see where there's a fucking rags to riches guy or like the broke millionaire or somebody trying to get into a club and who isn't dressed right, and then the bouncer stops him at the door and says, "Look, mate, you know what? I don't think." The reason people do that is because generally it's fucking true. Does that make sense? Like, if you dress broke, you probably are broke. And correspondingly, if you're in a country where the ratio of currency is significantly weighed against you, more likely than not, you can't afford to pay for the price of entry. Does that make sense, everybody? So, to avoid time wasters, within 5 minutes, I want to be telling him where our prices start from. And I want to see how he responds because I want to get it over with. So let's just see what happens.
That was the reason I booked a call, and I look on. I think Deepak was the name of the company's founder, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I was actually impressed by what he did. I like looked into your company profile, and I think
it's quite funny. I just he said he looked into me and the company. I just spent the last hour talking to guys about saying, guys, you got to produce content because it's an easy way to differentiate yourself. Because everyone else, and you got to produce enough of a value of content. And this, okay. So look, when do you? He says something that I want to build upon. When do you price check him, John?
Actually, no, I took a different approach. I framed this in a way that framed it for consulting, basically. And I'm going to have a call with him on Thursday with him and the marketing head, and I'm going to bring you in.
No problem. So to save you a lot of wasted time down the line, my recommendation is saying, look, Vivek, I'm just going to come out with this. I hope this is now. I'm a great believer in direct sales. Okay, so Eon and I differ quite vastly in this style. Okay, and that's okay because there's more than one way to skin a cat. But I'm a great believer. If you think someone can't afford the service, you say, look, I mean this with all respect, Vivek, but I just wanted to double check. I've spoken to a lot of companies based in Asia, and one of the challenges has been the currency conversion. So we found that companies that are in Nepal, such as yourself, sometimes have a challenge with the fee structure. And often I say, if you think you can get the same quality in your own country, then perhaps that might be the way to go. Now, we start from a pricing perspective, consulting at X pounds a month. And we, from a managed service perspective, start at X pounds. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, just to avoid you wasting your time with me, there's no negotiation around that. They are our minimum prices. So I just want to be sure now, do you guys have the budget for that specifically to afford that? Because I don't want you to waste your time. So, OSAP, people will understand. People will understand. Only fools will not understand or be insulted. Because it's logical. It's logical. Of course, people can say, well, what makes you think that Indians, Nepalese, or this or that can't afford it? It'd be like, bro, the last 9 companies I spoke to that were Indian couldn't afford it. I'm not talking about stereotype. I'm talking about a statement of fact within our own company. That's why I'm asking the question. And that is. So that's something that you definitely, I believe, want to bring into all calls within the first 10 minutes because you'll get a better return on investment of your time because it will remove the tire kickers. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah, cool. Amazing. And that's where the mate, bruv, bro, size of company, and all of these small things, I say all of these small things, all of these signals can then give you a lot of insight into how to manage a person that you're talking to, everybody. So that's where the mate and the sir and the heirs and the formals and the country of origin that the business operates in will give you indicators of purchasing power. And then you can get to where you think the crux might be. Now, of course, when you operate, and here's the caveat, when you operate in an environment where you have a limited supply of leads, then there's potentially more value in taking the longer game to trying to communicate that it's worthy breaking their budget. Okay? So when you have a limited supply of leads and you need to clasp and grasp onto every lead you have, then you can arguably try and build a huge value prop before you drop the price. Does this make sense? because
Yeah,
you don't
that's
have
more.
enough.
Yeah, that's
But
more what I was trying to do. Yeah,
we don't have that problem
yeah.
because you get, how many leads a day do you get?
A
Net,
few,
net. You could probably get more than
five,
five leads a
five,
day, right?
around five. Yeah,
Five a
between
day,
meetings and something.
probably more, probably 5 to 7. Sometimes I know you get 10 a day. Let's say 5 a day, that's 100 a month. You don't have a lead problem. You have a conversion problem. So focus on the leads that can convert because you have an unlimited supply of leads to a degree, and focus on that, and you'll find that it will open up more time to focus on other aspects of the work that might bring you a return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then to wrap up, gents, that chap, Bibek, what's his name? Bibek?
Feedback.
Yeah, Bibek. That's where I just, again, will say, as you develop on your sales journey, I aggressively advocate you producing content to document your journey because it will help you in ways that you will not anticipate. Like that. I didn't fucking anticipate we'd watch a random call and then he'd start talking about me. So he's looking at stuff that I produce God knows when or whatever, and he's like, cool, I connect. And that's probably why we get a inordinate amount of Indians, even though we don't target India specifically. Because people will be like, oh, cool, he's an Indian guy, so I trust him. Whatever. So that's just something separately to keep in mind for your own personal development. Like document your growth and journey and get into the habit of doing it, and it will help you no end. Cool. All right, guys. That's it for today. Thank you.